Mrs. Mallard, for having a heart disease, Josephine, in a very camouflaged way, was revealing the news of her husband's, Mr. Brently Mallard's, death. With them was accompanying Mr. Richard, sitting on a chair beside Mrs. Mallard's bed. Mr. Richard was the first one to hear the news in his newspaper's office of a railroad disaster in which Mr. Brently's name was there in the list of killed. He rushed to her house on confirming the news with a second telegram before any less careful person tells the news to her. On hearing the news, she didn't behave like a normal one would have been, traumatized, unable to accept it. After shedding her tears in unison, she, in a sudden, raging manner, surrendered herself in her sister's arms. After making herself stable, she went into her room, allowing no one to follow her. In the room was an empty, cavernous armchair facing the open window on the west side. She stood in front of the window, looking at the lawn where trees stood excited at the arrival of spring. She soaked in the armchair, breathing the rain-drenched air. A peddler was selling his wares on the street. Someone singing a song at a distance reached her ears slowly, with chirping of sparrows under the eaves. With the dull stare of eyes, she focused on the blue sky, exposed through the heaped up clouds. Some kind of intelligent thought was approaching her. She didn't knew it, but she felt it. She was willing to face it fearlessly. With her ramified lips, a little whispered word escaped again and again: free, free, free. With her clear and magnified perception, she dismissed the suggestion as foolish. She knew that she will weep again when she will see the body, the tender hands folded in dead, the face that had never looked save with love upon her, fixed and grey and dead. She looked beyond this. The coming years are absolutely meant for her. She welcomed them with her arms open up in the air. She had loved him sometimes, often not. The idea of self love gave her the strongest impulse. Free, body and soul free. She kept whispering. Josephine, keeping her lips on the keyhole, was begging her to open the door so that she didn't make her ill. She was at a different realm of life through the open window. She was drowned in the imagination of the days ahead of her. She prayed to God for her long life. Only yesterday she wished in fear for her long life. Her bosom boomed and she opened the door on her sister's request. Believing her the goddess of victory, she went down the stairs with Richard waiting at the bottom. Suddenly, someone was opening the front door with a latchkey. It was Brently Mallard, who was tired, entered carrying a bag and his umbrella. He was far from the scene of accident and he didn't even knew of it. Josephine's piercing cry and Richard screening him through the eyes of his wife made him stunned. When the doctors came, they said she had died of heart disease, of the joy that kills.